Okay, so if you're feeling stuck, personally or professionally, our next guest says the way forward starts with focus and commitment. Brent Gleeson is a Navy SEAL combat veteran. He's an entrepreneur, a best-selling author whose new book, All In, lays out a roadmap for personal growth and professional excellence. Brent joins us now. Thanks so much for coming.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's good to see you.
This is a perfect time. The year everybody's reflecting on the past year and what can I do to make this next year better for myself? So let's talk about it. You're a Navy SEAL. You are an entrepreneur, the best-selling author. We just went through all of that, but you have faced your fair share of hardships, but you say there was one thing in particular that really had you had this reckoning, and you decided, okay, am I living up to my true potential? Talk to me about that. What was it? What'd you do?
Sure, the catalyst for writing this book started with the unexpected passing of my father, actually, 2 years ago. And as a former SEAL, obviously not necessarily a stranger to death and loss, but when we lose someone pivotal in our lives, like a parent or a sibling or, God forbid, a child, it forces us to engage in some deep reflection on our own mortality and the fact that we spend our most valuable commodity, which is our time, freely every day without ever knowing the balance in our account. And that led me down a path of deep reflection on what type of impact I really want to have, where I'm spending my time, and how I can more deeply narrow my focus and share that type of framework with the world in the book All In.
Well, we have a lot of distractions these days. So when you talk about a deep focus, I myself am thinking, how do you get there?
Well, the book talks about, and it's centered around a framework, what I call the RRP, or Remarkable Results Pyramid. There's 5 layers to it. But one, also spending some time thinking about what do I want to get out of my relationships, my personal life, my professional spheres, and how do I narrow my focus to achieve those goals? Meaning eliminating those distractions and having the discipline to stay focused on just a few key routines, activities, and rituals, a few key relationships, a few professional priorities in your career, and everything else is really just noise. And being able to move that stuff to the side and have the discipline to focus only on those initiatives that will drive you closer to achieving those outcomes.
Look, we were just looking at a picture of you in active service. So it seems like, okay, a Navy SEAL, I feel like you guys probably, it seems easy for you to focus after the training you went through. But for an everyday person, how can we do that? Is there one thing that we can start doing that will move us toward our goal?
Right, and that's essentially what the whole book is about. Is I'm a deep believer in that philosophy of 1% incremental improvement a day. High performer like you, maybe 2 to 3%. The rest of us mere mortals, 1% is a good number to focus on. Okay. But really going back to how we design the environment around us and how we design our daily rituals and routines from the moment we get up to before we even check our devices and all the other distractions and the house explodes with kids and other responsibilities. How do we spend our time to prepare our mind, body, and soul to step onto the battlefield with focus? So it comes down to really, designing routines and rituals that will prepare your mindset for the day ahead and starting there.
Was there a defining experience in combat that changed how you think about focus, commitment, or even leadership or goals?
I think anybody with the experiences I've had, and even my contribution to the war on terror pales in comparison to so many of my teammates who've done 13, 14, 15 combat deployments. It's unimaginable. But really, when you consider the sacrifices that so many of our brothers and sisters have made, in the pursuit of that mission, that's what you gain is perspective. Perspectives on things that truly matter in life. And it gives you a heightened degree, an elevated degree of discipline to say, this stuff over here does not matter. These are time-wasting activities. I want to pour my heart, mind, and soul into only a few key things that will really unlock your ability to find true joy and fulfillment. Not a short-term dopamine spike, but lasting fulfillment that will have a positive impact on others.
When a lot of people in the military, I mean, a majority, I would say that the transition out of the military, out of service, is extremely challenging. Was there ever a point that you felt stuck? And if so, what did you do about it?
It's like anything else, having a good, actionable, measurable plan. The people that I know have had successful transitions because it's very much an identity shift. Coming out of the military, especially in special operations at the pace that we move, your identity is very much wrapped up in that mission. And coming out, you have to find a new mission. So having an actionable plan, and the people that, people in my organization, we hire a lot of veterans, but they start planning their transition years before they even retire. So for some, it's graduate school, or finding a mentor and a coach, or a new career path that they've been researching for a long time, and then pouring themselves into those actions. It may not be where they initially find themselves long-term in that career path, but taking action is that path to discovering what their new purpose is going to be.
What would you say is the first mindset shift someone needs to make? You're talking about that shift. What's the first mindset shift they should make to get out of the rut?
It's taking action. I think we spend too much time ruminating over our purpose and our values and the impact we want to have, and young people find themselves in this, in this rut as well. But getting out there, taking action, not worrying so much about, is this the right path, or is this the right career, or are these the right relationships, but taking some action, taking stock of some of that data, having some feedback loops from trusted advisors, mentors, friends, things like that, and then slowly finding, a deeper sense of your purpose and what you really want to pursue in life.
Yeah, I think people can get really overwhelmed and it cripples them. And so then they're just like, well, let me just keep making a to-do list, and they never get off that list.
Yeah. Dream big, start small, act now.
So what does all in look like in our everyday life?
Going back to designing the environment that you know is going to set yourself up for success. So again, thinking about a few key categories. What kind of spouse do I want to be, within my marriage? What type of parent do I want to be, and how present am I going to be despite my busy professional life? What type of leader do I want to be at work or in my career? And then working backwards to really design routines and rituals that you do every single day, not 3 to 5 days a week, 7 days a week, that will continue to shift your mindset and identity, that will elevate your degree of commitment, sometimes to new systems or a new process or using new tools or technology, depending upon the path that you're on, and that will continue to enhance your ability to succeed in those key areas.
So you're talking about things to do consistently to work toward a goal. You talk to a lot of groups. We're looking at pictures now. You travel the country and talk to a lot of people, a lot of industry leaders. What are some common traits in the successful people in what they do every day?
It comes down to extreme discipline. However we want to define success, but it comes down to extreme discipline in eliminating those distractions. So making sure that everything you spend your time on creates a flywheel effect and adds value to those other areas. But also making sure that, you hear sometimes people say, well, to achieve greatness in this area, you have to be unbalanced. Well, a lot of very successful people that we put on these big pedestals have a wake of destruction in their personal lives. So again, reflecting on, what type of regrets do you not want to have the day you pass over the Great Divide? And managing that list of regrets on your path to success, however you want to define it, that helps you really create a list of priorities that are meaningful, as opposed to so narrow and myopic that you're creating great achievement in this area, but creating a lot of damage in other areas.
Right. You lose everything that's really important to you on the way. So for people who are watching this, they're juggling family, work, working out. What's one small habit that they could start tomorrow morning that might help them? I mean, I think that it was former Mayor Michael Bloomberg used to say he always made his bed, which is, I find it hard to believe, but he said he always made his bed every morning. And so people who make their bed are more successful. What would you say? Is there something small people could do?
Well, my old boss, Admiral McCraven, wrote a whole book about that. He wrote the book called Make Your Bed.
Oh.
But again, it's about getting the little things right before we get the more complex tasks, right in our lives. But I'm a big believer. It's to the point of being cliche, but this isn't just coming from me, but Marcus Aurelius, who writes about this in Meditations, but the discipline of having that really well-designed early morning routine. You design it, make it your own, but I was inspired by Robin Sharma's book, The 5 a.m. Club, and he calls it the 20-20-20 formula. So whatever time you rise, I get up at 5 a.m., but from 5 to 6, I don't look at my devices, don't check email, don't even look at my phone other than to check the time, and I divide that time with 20 minutes of some type of wellness activity, not my full fitness regime, but like a cold plunge and stretching, 20 minutes of reading or listening to a book or a podcast, and 20 minutes of prayer and reflection. But all purposefully designed so that I can step onto the battlefield to be a better leader of myself and others. So again, you could make it your own, but that's what I've found to be transformative in my life.
I like that, to get up early instead of then you're rushing. I can't stand You know that feeling of oversleeping. That's not a successful day. What do you want people to take away from All In for 2026?
I wrote this book to reach a broader audience, I believe, than my two previous books, because there's a lot of examples of great, female athletes and entrepreneurs to history makers from thousands of years BC all the way to modern times. But I think that really looking at this to understand the impact you want to have on others. And when I say legacy, I'm thinking not in terms of that egocentric statues in the front lawn of a local university. I'm thinking of what positive impact do we want to leave behind on others and the people in our world. But again, spending a little time narrowing that focus. But the idea of this book is to help people, whether it's battling cancer or building a great company or having a better marriage or being a more present parent, or all of the above. It's designed to have a lasting impact on, frankly, anybody, hopefully, that reads it.
And you have to be all in. You can't halfway do it.
On just a few things, though.
On just a few
Otherwise,
things.
we're spread too thin or practicing the fine art of mediocrity.
Okay. I like this. I don't want to do that. I don't want to practice that art. Brent, thanks so much for coming in. Will you come back and talk to us about your other books? I mean,
Absolutely.
We have a real treasure here in studio because you do travel around so much and talk to people. They really want to hear from you. So we would too, and so would our viewers.
Looking forward to it.
Okay, thanks so much.